thanks for joining. This is the Worship Breakdown. I'm Jonathan, and today we're going to be looking at the song I Thank God by Maverick City Music. I believe it's off of their Upper Room album. Correct me if I'm wrong. But this song was released just this year, so it's fairly new. Wonderful song, wonderful album, wonderful group. Mixes a lot of different styles, from contemporary Christian music to gospel to some more like kind of free worship, kind of charismatic worship. Great stuff. I'm not going to be getting into the song too deeply today. There's a lot of different moving parts. There's a lot of little nuanced things that we can look at. But we're really just going to look at the chords that are used, as well as the strumming pattern, and just the very basic ideas of framework, how this song kind of pans out. The original recording is in the key of C sharp, and you can't see too many guitarists, or like actually the front of the guitarist in the video that they do, but I did catch one of them playing an acoustic guitar, and he is playing C Capo 1. So these are the chords that at least one of the guitarists are using. For today's video, we're going to be actually doing this G Capo 3, because I tend to find that works really well. That's the key of B flat. It's one of my favorite keys. It works well, and for most songs, it fits my voice well, and it fits my congregation's voice well also. So that's very important. But I think it's a good key for most people. So it's going to be the one that we look at today. But as always, I'll include kind of a cheat sheet down below, and I'll throw in some references to the original key from time to time. But mostly we'll be just looking at G chord shapes, Capo 3. That's going to work well. So this is not a 4-chord song. It's a 5-chord song. It's just a little bit more than that. It does some really interesting things with the chord progressions as well. It mostly focuses around the 1 chord, which in this key is a G. During the intro, during the kind of in between the choruses and the verses, or going up into the bridge, also the vamp towards the end of the song, it's really just focused around this 1 chord with a little bit of a hint of the 4 chord. So let me show you that. So I'm just hitting that note. That's a C note right there, relatively speaking. That's a C note. And it's just this back and forth. But I'm keeping that chord shape. I'm keeping that G chord shape. So it's still on the 1. It's just kind of adding this little bit of an accent here on this 4 note. In the original key, you've got a C chord, and you're going to add this little F note here, your pinky right underneath that ring finger. So I'm just adding that note, just kind of accenting on and off of that note. It's a really fun thing to do. It adds a lot of dimension to the song. But if you've got other people playing with you, good chance one of them can take care of that. If you've got a bassist with you, or if you've got a pianist, especially if you've got a pianist, they'll likely be playing that little da-da-da-da back and forth there. But it's fun. I'd recommend you try it. So, rest of the chords. We've got a 1 chord, which is a G. We've got a minor 2, so that's an A minor, and they play an A minor 7. So you take your A minor chord, and you just take that ring finger off, A minor 7. Alright. We also have a G over B, alright, G slash B, which is just a G chord. You just take that finger off. That allows that B note to ring out as the lowest note. Alright, so 1, minor 2, G over B, alright, C2, which is your 4 chord, D, version they do that very common thing, just adding that pinky down there, suspending that chord. So this is your 5. Then you have a minor 7, I mean a minor 6, but it's an E minor 7. It's nice and easy. You can keep these 2 fingers down here. E minor 7. So, go all over that one more time. G, A minor 7, G over B, C2, D, suspended, and then E minor 7. Alright? So, 1, 2, kind of 1, 4, 5, suspended, 6. Alright? So, that's the entire song. All those 5 chords, 6 chords. Right there. But again, I'll include a cheat sheet down below so you can see if you want to play it in the original key, what it would be in the key of C. As far as the verse goes, it's just a G and a C. Wandering into the night, wanting a place to hide, we're going to a C. This bag of bones back to the G. I try with all my might, G, but I just can't win. Then going to the C, slowly drifting, then back to the G. I'm a vagabond. Alright, so just those 2 chords, it's just a back and forth. When we get to, and that's true for verse 2 as well. Pre-chorus, and just when I ran D, out of road, E minor, so you're going up from a 5 to a 6, out of road, to that C2, I met a man, I did, back to the G. So we've got D, E minor 7, C2, G. Start that back over, go to D. He told me, G over B, I was not to the C. If you're having trouble with that G over B, you could just do a G chord. It's still a G chord, it's just what note's in the bass. That's really all it is. And he told me that I was not alone. You miss some of the tension that happens when you walk up those notes. And he told me that I was not alone. Kind of makes it flow a little bit better, feels a little bit better. But again, if you're new to that G over B, you don't have to work at it, but don't be worried if you can't do it quite as easily, or if you mess up and just do a normal G chord. Then we got the chorus, and this is just kind of walking up, from a G. You pick me up, A minor 7, turn me around. We get that G over B, place my feet on to the C, solid ground. So you're just walking G, A, B, C. Back to the E minor 7. I thank the Master, I thank the Savior. Then we do that whole progression again. 'Cause you healed my heart, you changed my name, forever free, I'm not the same. I thank the Master, E minor 7. I thank the Savior, I thank God. And you're back on the G. Fairly simple. The bridge is just really just sticking on that G chord. Lost not one, I am free, I am free, I am free. They do a couple things here and there where they start to build it a little bit more, so they use this D chord. Lost another one, E minor 7, I am free, I am free, to the C, I am, back to the G, so that's D, E, C, G. Lost another one, I am free, I am free, I am free. Alright, so it's not too crazy of a chord progression. The last time through, right before they go back into that chorus, lost another one, I am free. I am free. Just kind of driving on that C chord. You pick me up, you turn me around, then you're back into the chorus chord progression. Those are the chords. That's kind of the chord progression. Let's look real quick at this strumming pattern because it can be a little bit tricky. It can be a little bit tricky, especially when the guitar is not very prominent, or at least an acoustic guitar or rhythm guitar is not very prominent in the song. So let's kind of switch over here and we'll break this down a little bit. Alright, so when we are looking at these strumming patterns, what do you do when you can't really hear a guitar strumming in the song? First thing I always do, being a bassist or starting out as a bassist, is I really cue into the drums. And that's kind of where I'm going to get a lot of the strumming pattern. That's, I mean, I'm hearing that drum that on the toms, and I'm going to try to mimic that on my guitar, especially when I can't hear a very strong, prominent strumming pattern in the song. You do get just like a fraction of a strumming pattern at the very beginning. Within like the first 30 seconds, you can kind of hear a guitarist playing the strumming along. So I'm going to show you the strumming pattern that I tend to use, and then I'll show you the one that I heard slightly in the beginning of the song. It's very similar. They're very similar. So what I tend to use is just a down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down. That's what I'm doing throughout most of the song. You could also just kind of check on these chords with some down strums. I'm really cueing into this time, this kind of feel where I feel the pulses is 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2. That's where I'm cueing in. Everything else is just kind of filler or kind of just filling out the space, just adding accent to it. I feel the pulses on 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2. And so when I'm strumming, I'm doing that. 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down. And that kind of fills that out. But again, if you can't quite make sense of that, or if the down ups aren't coming quite as easily as you'd like them to be, just when I ran out of road, I met a man I didn't know. You picked me up, you turned me around, you placed my feet on solid ground. I thank the Master, I thank the Savior. Hell lost another one. I am free, I am free, I am free. So you can just chuck on those down strums throughout most of the song, and it's gonna work. And you're gonna feel a lot of energy. But again, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down. That works for me. Now, let me try to show you. The strumming pattern that I could kind of hear. It's very, very similar. I'm gonna get it wrong. Down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, See, I'm getting confused with my own strumming pattern. Down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, down, down. But hopefully that helps. Again, just 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2 is what you want to cue into. So let's kind of zoom back out. I'll talk about the structure just a little bit, and then we'll wrap up. All right. So overall structure of the song starts with that vamp, goes into the verse, pre-chorus 1, and just when I ran out of road, we go into the chorus. We have another little turnaround. It's that just that little turnaround. Does that twice. It goes into verse 2, pre-chorus. From now till I walk the streets of gold. It goes into the chorus again. We have that turnaround a few times before we go into the bridge. Lost another one. I am free. I am free. I am free. It stays on this for a while. Okay, you have just one line where it's just really just staying on that G. When they start to build it back up, they go through that other chord progression, the D, E minor, C2, back to the G. They do that a couple times before going one more time through the G, and then one more time through that build up, the D, E minor, C2. They do that section a lot, so you just have to listen to that a few times to see where that is, what that count is, where they start to do those chord changes. But again, this whole section is just a build. It's just a vamp. It's just, I would be willing to bet that was completely improvised in that moment. If not probably the whole thing was improvised in that moment. It's a vamp. That being said, play with that. Extend it out, shorten it, cut it, start with it. That's a great that's a great section to kind of move around and adjust to give this song a little bit more life from week to week, a little bit of variety there. They have another vamp that's not usually listed, or at least on CCLI, it's not listed on the chord chart or in the sheet music. It's that get up, get up, get up, get up out of that grave, and then if he did it for me, he can do it again, or if he did it before, he can do it again. That whole section, it's not written out because again, it's just a vamp. It's just free worship. He's just kind of improvising these lyrics and these thoughts that he wants to project out there into the congregation for them to kind of mull over and to sing over and celebrate. It's just vamped. Play with it. If you've got a team that can do that, do it. If not, cut it. Don't worry about it. Play around with it at practices, but don't feel like you have to do it. Because again, it's just an improvised section. That's the beauty of that whole album and this band and kind of what they do is just kind of free worship, improvised worship. It's a great thing to try and use. You don't want everything to be that. Structure is good, kind of planning things out. There's benefit to some other forms of worship. Everything can't just be spontaneous and free. You got to kind of think through some of those things. But it's a great thing to do from time to time to bring that in for sure. So play around with it. And again, I hope this helps.